We get the fourth emotional scene between Grandpa and Johnny's dad where they finally make amends. And I just want to say, all these emotional scenes, this all happens within the span of like 15 minutes of the film. It's unreal how many like emotional moments are happening back to back to back to back to back to back to back.
And it makes it so slow.
It drags on. It's like, okay, can we get to like a new scene where someone is snowboarding? And real quick, I didn't mention that. For the most part, the surfing scenes and snowboarding scenes are okay. They don't really have that many close-up shots of the actors, so you can tell it's just stunt doubles the entire time. But the actual stunt work itself, for the most part, was well handled and well shot. But so a plus for that. But so Grandpa decides it's time to snowboard with Johnny. So and they decide we're gonna do it on the ski side of the mountain. Oh man! And so Johnny thinks, well, this has to be Grandpa's first time snowboarding, right? Wrong. Grandpa starts snowboarding and does all these amazing jumps, and of course we hear, yee! And so of course the two, Johnny and his grandpa, who is a grown adult, get confronted by Brett, to which Brett says, "What are you doing here, Hawaii? And who's the freak?" This 13-year-old
Who would say that?
psychopath says to an older gentleman, "Who's the freak?" This kid is the spawn of Satan. Like, this kid is so unreal. I mean, my gosh. I will say the actor does a good job being unlikable. I got to give credit where credit's due on that. Although I'm looking at his Wikipedia file and he did not do much work. But, so Johnny decides, you know what? Enough of this. We have got to do something to settle this beef between the lower to middle class public schools and the high class prep schools once and for all. So, how about I, Johnny, go against Brett in a race down the mountain, him with his skis and me with my snowboard, and if I win, then we unify both sides of the mountain. But if I lose, then things stay exactly the way they are, but Brett gets to keep this very sacred and high-valued surf medal that Grandpa won in his prime as a surfer. To which Brett is like, yes, deal. To which you might think, why would Brett care to win that? He hates surfing. He hates Hawaii. I'll tell you why Brett wants to win that medal. Because he knows that Johnny considers that to be a very highly valuable thing to him, a possession. It's a prized possession for Johnny, and Brett wants to see Johnny suffer. Brett wants to see Johnny's parents die. Brett wants to see Johnny's house burn down. Brett wants Johnny to die because he is evil. So, we get the fifth emotional talking scene between Johnny and his dad, where Johnny's dad finally realizes how much of a jerk he's been, and he's going to support him now, and he's even going to go watch him race Brett tomorrow. And this was creepy. This whole scene, it's focused on Johnny and Johnny's dad, and they're in their house, and Johnny is on the stairs, and Johnny's dad is below, and they're talking. And then when they're done talking, Johnny goes up the stairs, and it focuses on Johnny's dad, and it cuts to the opposite side of the room, where all of a sudden we see Johnny's mom and grandpa in the living room with newspapers in front of them, very awkwardly just watching them as they had this talk. I just thought that was really oddly done. So, it's finally time for the climax, the big race. Everybody's there, and including the famous Jet Jackson. He got to show up because
Oh no, I forgot about
because
this.
so Jet Jackson shows up and Johnny says, "Oh my gosh, you're here! I thought you had to go to Iceland." To which Lee Thompson Young, the famous Jet Jackson, says, and I quote, "We were going to leave, but
My dad got his orders changed because he knew how awesome this race was going to be.
He says the major's orders got changed when they heard how epic this race was going to be."
His father got his military orders changed to watch a race down a mountain between two 13-year-old boys.
Apparently,
This man must be very large friends with the President of the United States.
this guy, yeah, he must be like incredibly well protected by the government that he can just do, and his son can do whatever they want. So we get the final race.
Which, okay, we didn't even see his dad in the entire climax.
No, we didn't. He
got his orders changed so he could watch Johnny race, and you didn't even see him in the entire climax.
I could be wrong. I don't think he was even at the party at the end. Maybe he's in the background if you really pay attention. But because even Brett was there. But so we get the final race, and honestly, while I do think most of the stunt work was pretty good in this film, this final race is kind of underwhelming. There's just not much to it. It's just
watching them.
It's just watching them. They're literally just going down a mountain. And I mean, there's a couple times where Brett, of course, kind of shoves him.
I mean, Johnny is like going down all the hard parts,
yeah,
or whatever, and
Brett's just going down,
the easy things.
To compare this to another Disney Channel sports movie, Brink, which we will get to eventually, because Brink is my favorite Disney Channel original movie. It always has been. That's about inline skating. Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Does that have Seth Green in it?
No. That's Airborne. Yeah, that's a different one. But,
a different inline skating movie. Oh,
that's right. That also has to do with surfing. But
why?
But where was I? Okay, but to compare this to Brink, like one of the things I actually genuinely like about Brink is that the roller skating scenes, the inline skating scenes, are really good, and the final race between the villain and the main character in that movie, there's actually like some intensity to that scene, and there's actually like obstacles that both are going through, and they're actually telling a story. This is just two guys going down a mountain. The only good thing about this climactic race is the amazing 90s electric guitar music, which was hilarious. But and when they're getting towards the finish line, they're both tied, they're side by side, they go up a ramp, and in slow motion the music fades out. And we hear, doom, 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 doom. I was like, really? We're doing this? This is so not, like, intense at all. But, of course, Johnny wins. He wins the race. And that's really all there is to it. He wins the race. Brett is a sore loser. And then he just kind of walks off. And as he walks off, people are cheering. People are happy. Johnny gets the medal, and in the best line delivery of the film, Johnny's dad goes, "We're going to have a big party at our house later today, and everyone's invited." To which everyone in the crowd just goes, "Yeah!" So we get our very oddly happy ending, where everyone's in the backyard, which they wasted no time setting up this party, by the way. The backyard looks great. All the characters, like every character in this movie is in this backyard. And they're talking.
Even Brett.
Brett is in the background laughing with his friends. And they're talking, and Johnny finally is fitting in Vermont. He's okay living in Vermont now. To which then he starts to dance with Xenon because we have to bring the love interest back in, literally in the last minute. And as they're dancing,
puts a medal on him.
Yeah, she did. And as they're dancing, Grandpa goes up to Johnny and goes, "I hope you're ready for Johnny Tsunami 2. Which, by the way, there is apparently a sequel to Johnny Tsunami, which I've never seen, and we'll have to watch it sometime. And the movie starts to zoom out. Everyone's happy. Everything's resolved. And as the movie fades into credits, we hear one more time, "Yee!" Awesome. And that's Johnny Tsunami, folks. Does the movie hold up as well? All things considering, yeah. It's watchable. Not really any bad special effects like Mom's Got a Day with a Vampire. Stunt work looked okay. Green screen looked okay. Acting was kind of hit or miss. But, yeah, this actually wasn't that bad. If you're into snowboarding or surfing, you might like it. I just love the fact that the villain from Mortal Kombat's in it. And
if you're a skier, you might not like this so much.
Yes, if you're a skier,
you're the devil.
Yes, if you're a skier, you need to stay away from this movie. Avoid it at all costs. And I will say, on a more serious note, it is a good performance by Lee Thompson-Young. This movie and his other performances in his short career prove he actually was a pretty good young actor. But yeah, that's Johnny Tsunami, everybody. So thanks for listening. We'll have some more reviews up soon.